Thank you for joining us. Our show for today is again about the Jewish National Fund and its vision for the future of Israel and the Jewish people. Our guests today are Lieutenant Colonel Zohar Vloski and a young present-day pioneer from the new Negev desert communities of Chalutza, and they're going to share their perspectives on Israel, past, present, and future, following these messages.
Human age reversal. We may be there already. Human studies are now ready to begin to confirm meaningful reversal of pathological aging processes. These clinical trials aim to alter older humans so that they function as much younger individuals. Even modest success will result in a paradigm shift that will impart enormous societal benefits, such as sparing Medicare from insolvency. Life extension is not standing idle while 5,000 Americans die each day from age-related illnesses. Joining us are physician scientists who want to hurry up these technologies to keep people from aging to death. While life extension is pushing these projects forward, we need financial help to ensure these studies are carried through to fruition.
Find magic again. Sprout by HP. With Intel RealSense technology inside, now you can bend the rules of creativity outside.
Believe that where there's a will, there's a way. Now, I have the will, yes, but the way has been made easier by the JNF because this amazing initiative of giving young farmers the opportunity to establish themselves in this farmers' community as farmers and gaining their experience has been amazing.
And I want to invite you to Chalutza. And I promise you that by the time you come here, Chalutza will look a lot different.
Sitting with me is Yedidia Haroush from Israel. Tell us why you're wearing a hat indoors and what you're doing here in Florida.
Okay, I'm wearing a hat because I represent an area in Israel. It's located on the southern end of Israel, right next to Egypt, 450 yards from the Egyptian border and 2 miles from Gaza. The area called Chalutza. It's 12% of Israel's desert, part of the Negev. It's sand and a little bit more of sand. And the reason why I'm wearing a hat, obviously, it's hot in Chalutza. We have a lot of farming, and that's what I represent. I represent families who started, 3 communities from scratch. My family lived in the Gaza Strip. Beforehand, lived in Sinai, a family of pioneers. And after being thrown out of our homes by our own government in 2005, we decided that despite everything, we are still positive, and we're still going to help the state of Israel. And we went and we started an area in the Negev with 15 other families. And today we're 350 families building the state of Israel. We feel, like you can see in the back of my hat, the pioneers of the 21st century. We know that today we're not the first pioneers, because somebody came in 100 years ago and built the state of Israel. But, like we always say, when David Ben-Gurion in 1948 formed the country, he started and focused mainly on, we say, the golden triangle between Haifa in the north, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem. That's where 80% of the population live, in this triangle, on only 12% of the land. And we forgot a little bit about the Negev. And our first Ben-Gurion, first Prime Minister Ben-Gurion, he moved to the Negev, and we are now realizing his dream after 70 years. And we're very proud to be the pioneers of the 21st century. We're very proud to be building a new area in the state of Israel. It's an opportunity you don't get every day. And we feel honored, and we feel like it's a privilege.
Absolutely, and very commendable. You have a lot to be proud of. Tell us a little bit about your background.
So I was born and raised in the Gaza Strip, a family of 7 kids. My father was a lieutenant colonel in the Israeli Defense Forces. My mom was a school teacher. And growing up in Gaza was not so easy ever since the second Intifada war broke, which turned to be many attacks, rocket attacks, shooting. Lost many friends and cousins. I always say I had the backyard near my home in Gaza, and whenever something would happen, I would go and to our nursery, planting nursery, and take a plant and plant it in my backyard to show the terrorists that no matter what they try to do, we're here to stay and grow, because this is our answer, by growing. 2005, as I said, Prime Minister Ariel Sharon decided to disengage from the Gaza Strip, and being the only democracy in the Middle East, we had to accept it. Although we didn't like it, we accepted it, and we got out. And once we got out, we did not want to see ourselves being uprooted in the air for too long, because just like a plant, when you uproot it, if you don't plant it right away, it dies. We wanted to see ourselves moving to the next chapter in life, so we went to the government, and they sent us to the Chalutza community.
I have a question. Speaking of disengagement,
yes.
Israel built all these amazing state-of-the-art greenhouses in Gaza. You probably know them very well.
Yes.
What happened to them?
After the disengagement, we were asked to leave them for some person from the United States bought them, and immediately after Hamas took over, and they broke the whole thing, and there is not much today of it.
Destroyed all these greenhouses which could have easily fed so many hundreds of thousands or millions of people.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, I can tell you that I didn't know it, but after the disengagement, I was very lucky and fortunate. I received a basketball scholarship to come to Highland Park, New Jersey for 2 years of high school. That's where I learned about it. I came and I played here basketball in high school in 11th and 12th grade. And I got to meet the amazing American Jewish community and the amazing community here in America, and how much Americans are supporting Israel, and it really warms my heart. And it made me a better Zionist, if you believe it or not.
Absolutely do. And what are your plans for the future?
Our plans is to grow from 2,000 people today to 15,000 people in Chalutza, and to make this a sustainable and viable region in the state of Israel. And that it's going to be big towns. It's going to be towns that people are proud of.
Well, it's really heartwarming for me to meet a present-day pioneer in the state of Israel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you all.
I'll be right back.
We recycle 85% of the wastewater, which makes us a world leader in water reclamation.
We can create agriculture in the south of our country with the water that's coming from this plant.
Since water is so important and critical for us in an arid, semi-arid region, we have to use the resources of wastewater for irrigation. To take the wastewater from our homes, to bring it to wastewater treatment plants, we use 80 to 85% of our domestic wastewater for irrigation in agriculture. This is the highest number you can find in the world.
We're collecting the wastewater from 2.5 million people in Dan region, the center of Israel. We're bringing it to the Shafdan, one of the world's largest water reclamation plants, and we recycle 99.8% of the wastewater back to the level of potable water that you can actually drink, shower, or use it for the agriculture as we do. We collect the wastewater through big pipes. They're coming here, we take out the solids, recycle it, and then the wastewater, we insert microorganisms. The microorganisms are digesting the organic material and purifying the water.
From this moment, we got effluent in very good quality, but for a limited irrigation. Here, at the recharge basin, we collect all the effluent and recharge it to the ground. This technology, it's very unique and developed here in Israel. And in the end of the year, we recharge this water for any kind of crops in the south of our country.
We believe that the experience gained in Israel and the different directions of being more efficient in water use, saving water, and producing water from new resources can be shared in many regions in the world.
With us now is Lieutenant Colonel IDF retired Zohar Vloski. A real pleasure to meet you, sir.
Pleasure, thank you.
These are historic times, and how interesting it is to meet you here in Florida. You are now serving JNF here in Florida. But I'd like to speak with you about your perspective of the history of the State of Israel and where we are in general terms without dating the interview. So at one point, you were 18 years old a few years ago, and you joined the IDF and served your country.
My experience, I'm trying to go back 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. I joined to the army to do my duty. I never know that I will serve at the IDF more than 25 years, but I'm very proud to see that when I look back, I see a lot of influential programs that I made during my army career. I was education officer and commander of education units across the IDF. I served with a lot of units during all my career, and I focus all my career to strengthen the connection to the State of Israel for all kind of soldiers, all kind of units, fighters and non-fighters, officers and non-officers, soldiers, and I try every time to bring in new initiatives to the field, to the IDF. For example, a few years ago I saw that a lot of soldiers never been in Jerusalem, never been, more than half of them. And I thought to myself, the best solution is to do. And I create a new initiative, take a tour in Jerusalem for all kinds of soldiers. And for one day during the training, the basic training, and another day or to do a celebrate Shabbat, education Shabbat in Jerusalem, but focus what is Jerusalem for all of us, to relax, to stay in Jerusalem, not in Teddy Stadium to see a football game. It's important, but in that real moment, it was so emotional to take them to the Western Wall during Kabbalat Shabbat. And during Kabbalat Shabbat is emotional, spiritual time, spiritual moment to bring everybody, special soldiers with uniform, their uniform, to Western Wall. Wow, it's so amazing. And sometimes some soldiers ask me, why you take me? I am a Druze, or I am not Jew. But they are so proud that I told them, listen, it's very, very important for every soldier and the IDF to come, to understand why he served his country, why he served at the IDF, and what is our roots, our background, our legacy, and more than if you are Druze or non-Jew, okay, why you connect yourself to the state of Israel. And they so thank us about our initiative.
Speaking of Jerusalem and its importance, it's interesting to point out that Jerusalem was never divided for more than 19 years until 1967, when it was reunited by Chatiba 55. The 55th Division paratroops liberated Jerusalem in the 67 war. And Jerusalem has existed from the days of King David and Solomon, and precedes Islam and is the capital of Israel.
Jerusalem is so unique. In Jerusalem you can find all different culture. This is what's so unique, that Jerusalem gives us all the period, all the legacy, all our story, all our heritage. And when you take a tour in Jerusalem, you feel that it's more than you are in your capital and it's belong to you and your history. You feel that you are part of all the stones. That the stones tell you a story. That the stones were and were from those days and will be there forever. And Jerusalem is so unique because you meet a lot of people, a lot kind of people from all over the world, especially all the citizens of Jerusalem. And it's very, very interesting. When you come to Shuk Machne Yehuda, or when you come to the Western Wall, or when you come to Kikar Safra, you meet a lot of people, and all kinds of people, and this is so unique in Jerusalem and in Israel.
And of course, it's a city where all religions can be practiced in peace. So I'd like to ask you, how do you see the future for Israel at this strange time in history?
Now Israel, it's more than ever so strong, so unique, so beautiful, and the people of Israel feel that they are so proud of all our achievement during the 70 years and for the next 70 years and more. To be an Israeli, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of the achievement, but all the achievement based on our history and our legacy and our initiatives and our Israelity. And if you ask me, okay, declare your Israelity, it's all of the six tenths. It's to live in Israel, to feel Israel, to love Israel, and to give to Israel, and Israel gives you back the Israelity that I can declare, but I feel every day. Especially if I'm here, I'm so enjoy to bring my Israelity to the lovely Jewish community here in South Florida.
And speaking of giving, you're now here after your long, important career for Israel. You're here representing Jewish National Fund and serving in that capacity. Before we conclude, tell us about that.
I am the Israeli Jewish National Fund emissary, Shaliach, and I'm very proud to be here to represent JNF, Jewish National Fund. More than 115 years ago that JNF was established after Herzl decided to create a new fund that make action plan. Not a lot of speaking. Zionist speaking is very, very important. But in the end of the day, who will realize it? And JNF realize it from those days, today, and for the next future.
planting trees, forests,
Yes.
and reservoirs, and all of the amazing things JNF does.
Yes, but more than, we're involved with the Negev and Galilee to bring more and more people. And we involved with a lot of projects across the Negev and Galilee. And we support Israel and to help Israel to create or to make the desert bloom. It's not only the Ben Gurion visionary, it's now the reality. And Zionist education, for example, a lot of programs to take, people, to take students from here to Israel and to do a full semester in Alexander Moss High School and to fill Israel during 2 months, 3 months, full semester to be an Israeli. You can imagine that they can do Miyam Leyam, from Mediterranean Sea to the Sea of Galilee, and then to celebrate Shabbat in kibbutz, and after or before Shabbat or holiday, celebrate in Jerusalem, in Eilat of course, but before they will do an army week, like Gadna week. Gadna, it's army week preparation for high school students in Israel. But here a special program to students from abroad. And it's an amazing time to connect them to their homeland, although they are living here. And JNF does a lot of projects across Israel to support and to promote the vision how to do Israel better. And JNF is your voice in Israel, and I am very proud to be a shaliach from Israel to bring my Israelity to the field here in South Florida.
Amazing career you've had, and I salute you for all that you've done and are still doing. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Very appreciate it. Thank you.
In the times of the Bible, the promised land of milk and honey was Judea and Samaria. And the greatest symbol of this promise was the vineyard. For centuries, these regions were covered with vibrant, fertile grapevines. But after the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD, the Romans uprooted the vines and took them to Italy. For nearly 2,000 years, no vineyards existed on these mountains. But in the late 1990s, a few Jewish men came here with a goal to change that. Men like Yaakov Berg.
2,000 years ago, Israel known like the best wine country in the ancient world. The Roman Caesars, the Greeks, they brought their best wine, not from Italy, not from French. They brought it from here, from Israel. But for 2,000 years, the land was desert. It was impossible to grow something on those lands. And actually a lot of people tried, and they couldn't succeed. I was born in Russia, and I came to Israel when I was 3 years old. It was always my father's dream to touch the land, to grow something. You know, if you will ask my father, do you believe that your son will own a vineyard or a winery in Israel, back then in Russia? I mean, he will cry or laugh, but for sure he's not going to believe to that. I remember when we started to plant the vineyards, everything it was rock. We need to drill into the rock in order to plant the vines. Everybody says, all the experts says, it's not going to work. Nothing will grow here. I don't think it's something that we can really understand. It's not that we changed the land, it's not that we brought a new soil or something like that. The land really came back to herself. It's like a dead man that came back to life.
The grapes Yaakov harvests to create his wines come from very special places. Elon Moreh, where God made his promise to Abraham. The Mount of Blessing, where Joshua said, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," and Shiloh, where the Ark of the Covenant rested. The harvesters who pick these grapes are neither Israeli nor Jewish. Each year, hundreds of Christian volunteers from around the world travel to Israel to prune the vines and harvest the grapes of Jewish farmers in Judea and Samaria at no cost to the farmers.
The Bible promises three main things. First of all, that the Jewish people will come back to their homeland. Second, that the land will come back to us. And from the moment that we came back, it's become a heaven. To me, Israel, it's the best proof God exists and still acting in our world. I don't think you can find a better proof. I'm Yaakov Berg, and I am Israel.
Human age reversal. We may be there already. Human studies are now ready to begin to confirm meaningful reversal of pathological aging processes. These clinical trials aim to alter older humans so that they function as much younger individuals. Even modest success will result in a paradigm shift that will impart enormous societal benefits, such as sparing Medicare from insolvency. Life extension is not standing idle while 5,000 Americans die each day from age-related illnesses. Joining us are physician scientists who want to hurry up these technologies to keep people from aging to death. While life extension is pushing these projects forward, we need financial help to ensure these studies are carried through to fruition.
Find magic again. Sprout by HP. With Intel RealSense technology inside, now you can bend the rules of creativity outside.
Carrier asks, what does comfort mean to you? Is it a cool breeze on a scorching day? Or a cozy corner on a cold night? That every room of the house is as inviting as the next. And the air is fresh and clean for everyone. That humidity is where it belongs. At Carrier, comfort means more than just the temperature. And the people who invented modern air conditioning keep inventing new ways to make you comfortable, however you define it.
This brings us to the end of our show for today. I'm Maya Brandt, and thank you for being with us.